Tonight, friend of slain coach makes a heartfelt appeal to those sharing photos of his dead body to think about the impact on the children he coached.
So think about how the children will be seeing this as their coach, as a man who coached the under 15.
Minister Fortuna Belrose confirms she wants another showdown with incumbent Castries East MP Philip J. Pierre and will then deliver on programs to eradicate stigma surrounding Marsha. And the TUF is not awaiting a government invitation for dialogue before it gears up for the implementation of national health insurance. The details of these stories and more coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Loveless and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Tuesday, the 14th of January 2020. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow Channel 117. The broadcast is also being simulcast on Kiss FM Radio. You can watch via our website. It's www.caribbeanhottv.com or watch on our free Caribbean Hot FM mobile app. I'm lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. A longtime friend of the island's first homicide victim, Castries Glasgow, is asking people to have some humanity by ceasing the sharing of the image of his dead, naked body following his death on Monday. Hot FM radio presenter Jordan Allen says people need to think about the impact that such actions will have on the many lives that Glasgow touched, especially the young children whom he was actively coaching. Rochelle Gonzalez begins our reporting.
For the family and friends of Castries Glasgow, who was brutally slain in the early hours of Monday the 13th of January, his death is being reportedly felt as an unimaginable loss. However, at the hands of social media users, the harsh reality of it all has been glaring. Shortly after the news broke of the island's first 2020 homicide, photographs of the crime scene, which shows a naked Glasgow slumped onto the floor, emerged. The photos have since gone viral, to the anger and dismay of the loved ones of the deceased, including his longtime friend and teammate in the Big Players FC Marsha football team, Jordan Allen. Allen condemned the act of sharing the images, calling it distasteful and embarrassing. He said persons need to think of the impact that such images will have on the lives of the youth that Glasgow so passionately took under his wing.
I would ask them to please, cease and desist immediately. Just stop it, man. That ain't making no sense. You have the man's already dead. His family, his friends are grieving. Imagine the young people which he coached every Saturday morning. It falls into, they have to look at that. That's coach. And they call him Coach Boom. So think about how the children will be seeing this as their coach, as a man who coached the under 15, the under 18, young people that he coached. So your kids are seeing that, you as the adult should be more responsible.
Allen said, "This is a recurring issue in St. Lucia where persons race to share such images after crime or accident scenes. The campaign to stop such behavior," he said, should continue.
I'll go back in time. You can give a man some wisdom. You can't make him think. I could tell you 1 1 is 2. How you got the 2 is up to you. You see, we St. Lucians, you will tell them, do not do it. Unless it doesn't affect them personally, they won't understand what you're talking about. So it's like you just have to continue repeating it, and hopefully somebody will get it.
Allen said he believes with social media being the avenue for persons to expose whatever they want to, people have lost the personal touch of it, where they forget to place themselves in the shoes of the persons they are posting about. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
Castries East hopeful for the United Workers' Party, Fortuna Belrose, reveals plans to take on the mammoth task of reforming the Marsha community should she win the Castries East seat in the next general election. Belrose confirms that she is indeed planning to face a longtime MP Philip J. Pierre head-on and says one of her main aims is to breathe some life into Marsha.
The United Workers' Party candidate for the Castries East seat, Fortuna Belrose, is getting set to take on a titan in the arena of St. Lucian politics, Philip J. Pierre, who has been the MP for the said constituency for over 20 years, and she has big plans for the different communities, especially Marsha. For many years over, the Marsha community has been plagued by negative press due to a high level of crime and poverty. While seated as a guest on the first hot seat for the year, Belrose says she is confident that she can take on Pierre and even win in the next general elections.
I'm a sports person. I always keep telling you that. And when people play sport, You go into sport because you believe that you can. And I would never get in any race if I know that I can't. And I believe, given what I've seen, I grew up in this community. So we know what was there and what is still there and what needs to be done in that constituency. And I believe that as we look at the contribution of Mr. Pierre, and one must be fair to him, he's served 25 years and he's a champion in that respect because he has done his work, you know, and the people have voted for him. But the issue is, what were they voting for?
Belrose said she has seen the work that her government is capable of doing, and she recognizes the strengths of the constituency. Therefore, she knows where the most attention is needed. She said she does not think Pierre possesses the same insight.
I believe that Castries East is a community that has led this country, because at one time we were first and foremost. You understand? We've regressed. We have regressed. When you look at the developments in the constituency, you look at the housing, you look at the issues that plague quite a few of the areas in the community, I think it was positioned to be doing a lot better. When St. John delivered the Independence community in 1979, that's the Independence housing area, I mean, one would have thought that by now the area would have had many more housing developments. But no, everything else has been left to be squatted housing. And in the Bagatelle area, you have quite a few squatters. You have persons who pay rent, who don't pay rent. You have owners of land who have died, and people are just squatting, you know, and there's no structure and no organization in that constituency. And after 25 years, come on, surely there should have been a better plan for the development of that area. We've not seen anything since Sir John left in 1979 with the housing development. And so it's bothersome, you know, that a community that is so rich in talent does not have the oomph, you understand, the drive in leadership, you understand, to transform it in the way that it is. It should be, you know, it's really sad.
Belrose said the community of Marcia has a lot going for it, and as a government, an effort is needed to approach the community in a structured and organized way, something which she said is already on the agenda. The stigma, she said, is already implanted into the heads of the masses, and so the aim is to prove them all wrong by revealing the bright and promising side of the community.
We are people who like to stigmatize, generally, and so I think the community can easily rise above that because they have the capability, they have the talent, they have the people in there, you know, with the will to make the difference, and they have young people. And, you know, Cassie Boom himself trained so many of them to be law-abiding, respectful citizens, you know, and so for me, I see great hope in terms of these young people. What we need to do is to provide the opportunities for them and the models so they can see exactly where it is that they're going.
The Castries East hopeful said there is a lot of work to be done, and she is not saying that she can do it all. However, there is a clear direction that needs to be taken, and she will take it with the backing of her government if given the chance to do so. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
Prime Minister Alan Shastney says the full commissioning of the Owen King EU Hospital is within sight and reiterated the commitment of the government to ensuring affordable health care for all. He did so during his New Year address amid criticism that his administration has overseen a crisis in the healthcare sector. By all indications, 2020 will be a crucial year for the government to gain some ground in the area of healthcare before it may have to face the wrath of the people at the polls in 2021. In his New Year address, Prime Minister Alan Shastney highlighted plans for the healthcare sector. He says the aim is for the full commissioning of the Owen King EU Hospital by the first half of 2020.
I reiterate our commitment to ensuring affordable quality healthcare for all. You can expect the full commissioning of the Owen King Hospital as the majority of the faulty equipment has been fixed or is being replaced. And we've set a deadline for us to move in by the first half of this year.
St. Jude, by the Prime Minister's account, remains a work in progress. The issue will undoubtedly be a major focal point as political campaigning is expected to ramp up throughout 2020, and already the opposition has coined the phrase horses over hospitals. But the Prime Minister says the government will deliver on St. Jude.
Many of you now are fully aware of the major structural and safety issues which exist in the hodgepodge of structures built by the former administration. Our government is committed to getting it right. We're currently constructing a 90-bed facility that will cater for both inpatient and outpatient services. We will soon be able to put behind us the sad memories that have lingered since 2009 when the original structure was destroyed by fire. I want to thank the management and staff of St. Jude for their hard work and, more importantly, patience in staying the course with their excellent service during those very trying years.
The plan for a national health insurance is also said to be picking up steam.
The Labour Party talked about universal health care, but had no plan on how to pay for it. Now, in partnership with the World Bank, we're strengthening St. Lucia's public health care system by improving accessibility, efficiency, and responsiveness of key health services. In this year's budget, I shall expand on our plans for a national health insurance program. We aim to ensure that all St. Lucians have insurance, and government will cover the vulnerable, elderly, and unemployed.
Work on the Dennery Polyclinic is also expected to commence soon. Work on the facility was halted after the groundbreaking ceremony in 2018 due to what the government reported were inadequacies in the original design. The facility has since been redesigned. The president of the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association, Dr. Merle Clark, viewed the Prime Minister's New Year address with keen interest. She says the SLMDA will hold the government's feet to the fire on announced plans to complete the commissioning of the Owen King EU Hospital, construct a 90-bed facility at St. Jude, and begin the groundwork for a national health insurance scheme. President of the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association, Dr. Merle Clark, says while the Prime Minister did not divulge specifics regarding plans for the healthcare sector, the general commitments to deal with the festering issues at the main healthcare facilities on island are enough for the association to hold the government accountable to deliver on its promises.
We do plan to meet with them because, again, this directly affects our members. We are the ones who work at the hospitals along with the nurses, and you know that this year is been recognized as the year of the nurse. So, I mean, when you look at working conditions, we can't deny that there are problems with the plants as they exist in terms of the Stadium and Victoria Hospital plant, that there are major infrastructural issues. So we do plan to hold them to task as it pertains to that.
Dr. Clark serves on the National Health Insurance Committee and says it is one of the areas of pressing concern for the entire population to have a national health insurance scheme finally introduced.
And there is a lot of work being done with reference to that. And we do think it is important. How exactly it's implemented, that is still being worked out, but the Prime Minister mentioned that as well, and we do understand the importance of that, because we can't live in a bubble and pretend that there aren't solutions who genuinely cannot afford healthcare, and the numbers aren't exactly small. So we have to find a way to ensure that we guarantee healthcare for all solutions at the same time, ensuring that we have solutions, understand from our end how important it is to prevent diseases, particularly the chronic diseases.
Dr. Merle Clark succeeded Dr. Alphonsus St. Rose as the president of the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association in April 2019. She says the association plans to engage the government in constructive dialogue very early in the new year. The former SLMD executive had been very outspoken and took a tough stance on healthcare, never shy to condemn or call out the government. It was argued by the government that the relationship was unnecessarily contentious and combative. The SLMDA, for its part, had railed against a lack of consultation with the executive on plans for the healthcare sector. Accusations were made by members of the government that the executive of the association were politically motivated in a campaign against the government. It will be interesting to note how this new SLMDA executive, headed by Dr. Merle Clark, will maneuver to ensure that the government keeps to its promise to make major advancements in the healthcare sector throughout 2020 and beyond. The Trade Union Federation is gearing up for discussions regarding the National Health Insurance Scheme that government has already indicated that it will pursue. The International Labour Organization ILO facilitated a workshop for the St. Lucia Trade Union Federation on the subject of national health insurance. President of the Trade Union Federation, Julian Monrose, says although there has been no initiation of dialogue on the part of the government, the union is readying itself with acquisition of knowledge on the subject matter.
We have not been consulted in any way where the matter has not been discussed with us as a trade union movement. But we felt it necessary to try to understand the concept, understand what it entails, and to be able to devise for ourselves a position paper or a position so that we can, when the time comes, if and when the government chooses to engage us, that we would be able to make a contribution to the discussion.
ILO specialist on social protection Ariel Pino says the need for dialogue and consultation on the matter of a national health insurance scheme cannot be overemphasized.
These 2 days, the ILO for the Caribbean is supporting the workers in this case to build capacities, to reinforce capacities, so they can have a better understanding of the implications of the health insurance in St. Lucia, and therefore they can have their own position and sit on the table with capacities and ideas to shape the national health insurance of St. Lucia.
The TUF president says the ILO workshop has already been very beneficial, with facilitators sharing experiences from Sister Isle Antigua with implementing a national health insurance.
Our job is to understand what it entails, see what are the best practices out there, look at what possible challenges that NHI may face, and be in a position to contribute to the development of the concept nationally. That is the aim. Not to fight it, not to oppose, but to see how we can make a contribution. So at the end of the day, St. Lucia can come up with the best possible national healthcare insurance system.
All groups in the labor movement, including the National Youth Council and women's groups, were invited to the TUF ILO Forum. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, the appointment of goodwill and brand ambassadors is said to be too little too late by a former creative industries consultant. The fire service probes a suspicious fire in Babono, and we have all the excitement of the show experience. That and more coming up after the break.